hearing from you. And man, there's so many good people on this call. I can't wait just to sit back and listen. So
I'm
let's have
excited
a
to be.
great night. Let's have a great night, and much love to you guys. Always love to you guys.
Likewise.
Thank you, Skip.
Likewise, brother.
Cheers.
Damn, I feel so fat. Right when you said he was a good pie maker, I clicked his profile to see if he lived near me.
I
did the Who doesn't like a good pie?
Why? Where do you live? Where do you live?
On the East Coast.
Hey, I've already listen. I already have people on the East Coast who I've already told that I'm going to come to their house personally and make them a pie. So DM me, and after Moas, I'm there.
Yeah, let me buy my mansion first. I'll make sure I have a nice stainless steel oven.
Just set aside some good money for a pie fund.
Convention
pie fund on the side. A good pie fund.
You guys have a good night. Let's have a great call.
Yeah, man. Amen. Things have been crazy as hell here, man. Last month for me, God, business has been off the chain. Been real busy, so things are definitely moving. I can tell you that. Metals have been oddly stagnant, but at the same time, it seems like they're using crypto and metals as a balancing act for plays. Does anybody else see that? David, have you noticed that?
I mean, I've definitely seen the crypto space having not always, but somewhat of an inverse relationship with a lot of the shorted stocks and with the market in general in a lot of respects. I know about metals. I haven't really looked into it, but crypto certainly there's a lot of pumping at certain points. I think the Bitcoin ETF coming out, the BITO, was, of course, a great opportunity to short term get people out of some premiums if they bought short term options. But of course, Bitcoin, I think, is moving to 100K at the end of the year. By the end of the year, so it's long term good. But I definitely think that it was a great opportunity for them to use crypto to provide some liquidity for all these plays, for sure.
Most definitely. Yeah, I've had some big swingers come in. Shockingly big swingers.
Yeah, it's hard not to believe they're using crypto's liquidity. We had I don't know how many weeks it was back to back where crypto would just dump on Sunday night or Monday morning, and then it would be the same thing every week.
If you guys want, I will just want to give you guys an update. I don't know if you had seen what I had posted, but I just want to give everyone a little bit of an update on the NSCC 2021-010. They recently, just on November 5th, there was a new order that was posted on the NSCC's website, indicating that the SEC had issued an order instituting proceedings to determine whether to approve or disapprove the proposed rule change in regards to financing transaction clearing services and other such changes. Well, what it was they basically have kicked the can on that rule change. So what happens now is they had posted that on November 5th, and they said that they opened it up for proceedings, which basically means that it's essentially the same as comment, but it's a little bit more substantial because they're actually seeking quote unquote arguments. And one of the things that I found really interesting about it was if you look deep within the order, it says that not only are they accepting written submissions, but they're also accepting, which is very rare, they would consider accepting oral submissions, which is really fascinating. That they would accept oral submissions. You have to make a special request for that, but they are accepting oral submissions. And anyway, long story short, with that, the rule change now will not possibly go into effect for quite some time. So they have to update it put it up on the Federal Register, and I'm not sure if it was put up yet. I didn't have time to check today, but from whatever day it gets published on the Federal Register, there will be 21 days for people to submit arguments, and then 35 days for them from the date of publishing in the register for replies. Now, that doesn't mean 21 plus 35. It's 21 days for you to put up your opposition or being in for of it, and then basically you get and then an additional 2 weeks for anybody to put in a rebuttal to whatever was posted over those 21 days. So it's not going to be a total of whatever. I'm not good with math. 50 something days. It's going to be 35 days total. But then after that, it's not going to be 30 on like the 36th day. You know, they're going to issue a ruling. You know, they're going to have to take time then after that for them to actually review all of the documentation. And the reason why all this is important, and I know it's frustrating as fuck. I'm sorry, frustrating as hell for this to be kicked down the road. But if you remember, right, let's look back a couple of weeks. We had Citadel versus SEC, right? We had that case before the Court of Appeals. And during that Court of Appeals argument, they were talking about whether or not the SEC acted properly, right? Did they act in an arbitrary and capricious manner? Well, this type of this procedure, right? This procedure of opening up these proceedings is basically a CYA for the SEC. They're covering their asses. They're doing, their due diligence. They are opening this up for comment. So nobody can say to them, "Oh, well, you just implemented a rule without, following the procedures that are set forth in the act." So even though it's frustrating and it does feel like they keep kicking the can down the road, there is a rationale behind it. They're not doing it intentionally or to purposely slow this down. They really have no choice but to do it sometimes, because if they're going to implement a strict new rule or a strict modification to a rule, they know that there's a great likelihood that somebody may or may not appeal the order, and this basically protects them and insulates them for when it gets taken up to a court like the Court of Appeals. This will give them the ability to say, no, we didn't act in an arbitrary, capricious manner. We submitted this for comment. We submitted this for argument. We did everything we were supposed to do within our procedural requirements, and therefore they cannot overturn this rule. It is a rational rule. So basically, that's where we're at with that rule. I have a couple other things to comment on on the legal end, but I'll spit it out sporadically, and I will hand the floor over to somebody else. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on that rule.
Well, that was a lot.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm guessing Trey might have had a hot dog today.
Nah, I got Applebee's.
Subway doesn't have hot dogs.
No, I don't know. I don't know. They should get hot dogs. I'd probably buy one. No,
Dude, I don't know how you ate that chip.
I got a $2 slice of pizza.
That's a bargain.
Dude, holy Toledo. I was walking down the street in New York, and there's this pizza place, and I asked this guy, I said, "Hey, you're holding a slice of pizza in your hand." And he said,
we're pushing after hours. Sorry. We're at 4610.
Yeah.
It's still going 4630. Holy shit.
"Oh, damn. Oh,
The pizza just got relatively cheaper, by the way.
wow. I lost my train of thought, but that doesn't
The
matter.
numbers get released yet? That looks like a numbers move.
About to hit 46, 75, 88, 90,
I think I just saw the numbers come out. Let me see.
47. Oh, shit.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy.
Revenue 763 versus the estimated 708.
Damn.
So they beat it.
So
That's great.
little beat, yeah.
R.I.P. Rich Lightshed. Sorry, Trey.
No, that's 10 times more interesting than my $2 slice of pizza. I apologize for ranting. I was just excited.
Trey, how did it feel to be back in New York after all this time?
So I think when I said I went to St. John's, you thought the one in New York, but I'm from Minnesota, St. John's.
That's so funny. All this time I thought we went to school.
No. I'm from the armpit of the north, where it's below zero half of the year. That's the St. John's that I went to, but it's still cool. It's super cool. I like the city for sure. I met a couple people, and it's really, I think, the most empowering thing that you can do if you're in a community is meet the people behind your screen and have conversations with them and hear stories and hear feelings, because that makes it real, right? It's really easy to desensitize and just look at this chart and lose track of what this is really about. But if you remember, it's the people, man. The people first. It's a damn cool thing, and it's always nice to have that reminder.
Yep. It's like anything else. When it's on paper, it's one thing. When it's, flesh and blood in front of you, it's a whole other thing. So you saw the guy with the slice of pizza. Then what happened? I'm still waiting for the rest of that story.
So I was outside this pizza place, and I said to this guy, "Yo, you look like you're holding pizza." And he said, "Yeah." I said, "What'd you pay for that?" "That's a big slice." And he said, $2. And I said, $2. Oh, I was mind blown. So I said, "All right, well, I'm gonna go get a $2 slice of pizza," and I did, and that's the story.
So the follow up to that is, at some point you'll go and buy a $2 slice of pizza, and it'll be like a 16th of a pie, and then you'll be like remembering the day where you got the really big slice for $2. It'll seem like a better value.
That is 100% it. It was like eating a frozen Tostitos, but it's decent, and it was $2. You're paying way less for the same amount of food. Oh man, and the crust. I'm telling you, I'm a connoisseur. I got my degree in nutrition. I'm a health and fitness guy to the maximum. That's a pizza right there. That was decent. That was good.
Trey, if you start traveling around, you got to do the pizza reviews like Portnoy.
I was just about to say that. I was like, there's some guy out there that does these pizza reviews.
Absolutely. I thought about it. I was like, damn, he used to do that for a living. That's wild stuff. But you know what? It was enjoyable. That one chip that I ate, that review dork sent me, that is clean. It cleaned out of my system finally. So food is good again, and that is nice.
And you can taste it again, which is even better.
It's fantastic. That was the buzzword of the day. Fantastic.
I watched that video of you eating that chip, and when your voice went up 3 octaves, I felt your pain.
I thought we were gonna get to watch you cry and drool.
I felt liquid dripping out of my every top hole in my face. That was really strange. I don't know what to I don't know what to do.
Just your face.
Face is melting.
I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. That's not important.
So yeah, what are our thoughts for this call?
Well, I'm looking at the official press release here. Let's see what it says here. So their recent quarter saw a 34.8% increase and a 96.4% increase in adjusted EBITDA, which is great. And it's a 75 and 98.4% improvement over the third quarter from 2020. Let's see, they have 1.8 billion in cash. Let's see, undrawn revolving credit lines remain at near record levels. Let's see, they do not anticipate having to borrow under those lines of credit in the next year, so the next 12 months. So that's great. So they have a lot of cash on hand. Earnings are up. Their EBITDA is up. Everything is going well. I think that's everything's looking good.
R.I.P. Cobblecord.
Is that the awkward silence you were talking about before?
Yeah, that was it.
I thought I lost
that was the one.
I'm like, what the fuck did I just do?
I'm gonna stop making fun of
I'm like, I really hope this call didn't just crash.
It's so weird. Every time that happens, I always assume that something happened on my end with my phone, because I just can't imagine any of us not being able to say anything at any given time.
I was just positive that my phone just screwed up.
I'm sitting here with like 2 fingers frozen holding the phone on an ice pack, so I knew it wasn't me this time.
David,
But-
you haven't gotten a new phone yet?
This is the new phone.
Oh, God.
This is the new phone. That's the scary part. These space calls eat phones. Like my old phone, I think I told you guys, the screen literally came away from the chassis of the phone because the battery got so hot that it expanded. I've never had that happen before, and I use my phone pretty heavily. I'm like, this is crazy.
Have you ever tried having your phone not be hot?
What, like, how to, but yeah, by putting it on ice. But like, how do you mean not be hot?
Have you ever tried having your phone just not be hot?
I don't know how to do that. That's the problem.
Trey is in rare form today.
No, because I want to answer with this, which is true, but I kind of gave up after one try. One time for a space call, I put the phone in the freezer for like a half an hour before the call, figuring, all right, I'll start off colder so it won't get as hot as quickly. And then took the phone out of the freezer like 4 minutes before the call, and it was too cold to turn on, and that wasn't so good. So I'm like sitting there rubbing my phone, trying to warm it up enough that it turns on in like the next 3 minutes. I still have a blister. That was like 2 months ago.
Jesus.
No, I'm kidding about the
the
blister.
ape way. That is some smart ape law. Honestly, I would have done the same thing. I'm impressed.
I didn't realize that the phone has a minimum operating temperature though, and it's I guess slightly above freezing.
I have a MacBook
The
Pro,
nostalgia-
and this thing,
Nostalgia coming from a huge space call talking about phones being too hot. Amy running, Trey present, like this, like the nostalgia that I'm experiencing right now is I can't even explain it. Like it feels like we've been doing this for like 10 years, even though it's been a year, because it's just like you flash back to like points in time where you're just like, God, I remember 801, and I remember I remember all of the ups and downs and the roller coaster, and it feels like it's been 10 plus years. And then you look up. There's been so much has changed, but so much has stayed the same at the exact same time. Where it's just like we're winning, and and that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. Like none of this other stuff really matters. So I'm so excited for this space is that I wanted to put my actions where my mouth has been for a while. Where like what, I don't care what the space is. If AMC is the title, then that's a safe space. So that's where I'm at now.
Absolutely. And as far as the time of Twitter or this this play, so to speak, but I think it's more Twitter because it's the hours that we spend on here. There should be something called Twitter time, like how there's like dog years, because this last 8 months,
I'm on it right now.
it feels like it's been 18 years. I mean, I feel like I could have built a house 3 times in this time.
Well, you've been through 3 phones, so that's
True. True.
That's a good
Phone
way to.
years. There we go. That's the universal measure of time now is phone years.
How have you gone through 3 phones?
I don't know. I think the first one was really because it was in a case, and the case made it even hotter. So now I take the phone out of the case before I do space.
It's a Samsung, isn't it?
No, iPhones, all iPhones.
Really?
Yeah. No, if it was a Samsung, I would expect to catch fire on its own without any.
I
space call.
I was pretty sure the first one was a Samsung.
No, all been iPhones.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Dave.
Puts on Apple, I guess.
Dave, I think the whale is here. They wanted to come up a second.
Sure. Let me see if. Give me 1 second. I think let me get Citadel Air back up. He was trying to. His phone just crashed. We got to ask him what I think he has an iPhone also. I don't have a request from.
Okay.
You saying unusual whale?
Yeah, I didn't have it either. I just texted him.
All right. And Citadel Air, I don't have a request from him, but he was just.
I feel like these shares they use to push the price back down. Like KG's got to have a little box in his office of AMC shares he's saving. This after hours fight is so wild.
Looks like it's trying to come back green a little right now in the after hours.
Yeah, I just get a kick out of earnings are just fire, and somehow stocks just go red. I remember the last earnings call that AMC had a beautiful, nice run. And then it dumped for the rest of the day after that. And I just think to myself, wow, yeah, this makes a lot of sense that the ownership of this company, who typically doesn't sell stock anyways, would just all sell the day after fantastic fucking news. That makes a ton of sense.
I mean, earnings are always tricky for any stock. I mean, look at Peloton recently. That was a real nasty drop they had right there. And AMC, of course, has I think the last earnings was I remember they were saving up. We kept seeing like larger and larger tranches of shorts being taken out, but weren't being used. And then, of course, they were used right after earnings to try and shake everybody out and just piss everybody off and try to get people to sell. It's I don't. I mean, there hasn't been. There've definitely been a lot of shorts taken out recently as I've been like scanning through Ortex, but I haven't seen a lot of heavy shorting just yet. So I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow.
So besides earnings themselves, the monetary earnings, does anybody have any thoughts on what they might expect today from Adam Aaron in regards to his originally mum's the word on a new direction for the company? Do you think it was just the popcorn? Or do you think there's something else that he might have up his sleeve today to announce? I just opened that up to everybody.
I'm gonna assume something about issuing crypto. That was a really big point he made recently. But other than that, I don't know.
I'm hoping for a nice little surprise. I mean, the popcorn thing was good. I mean, it's not a sexy kind of announcement, right? But I mean, but AMC is not really in the movie business. They're in the snack business and the popcorn business. So I think this is a natural extension. The retail kiosks, there's going to be a few of them. I think the grocery store branding is actually a really great idea. And I think that they already have a lot of the logistics worked out from the end of getting the popcorn and everything. So now they just need, they're probably going to work with end-to-end distribution and get it out there. And I would love some AMC branded popcorn from the grocery store. I think that would be great. So I think and plus, like, imagine if they had that revenue stream back in 2020 already. They would have not nearly had as many problems staying afloat if they had a consistent revenue stream that didn't rely on people going to the theater, buying the snacks and popcorns and things like that. So I like that, certainly. It's not super exciting, but if that's it, then that's decent. That's a decently good long-term outlook for the stock, because I think that and for the company, because they have a consistent revenue stream that isn't relying on what movies are coming out, what season it is, and all of that. I think that's good. But I'm hoping that there's at least one more surprise announcement coming today, something really special.
Has anybody heard anything more about AMC producing their own cryptocurrency?
Apparently, they're doing merchandise. Sorry, someone just messaged me that.
So no one's heard anything more about that?
No,
I don't think there's been anything official.
I think
maybe we'll hear something more in 28 minutes.
Apparently, they added Shiba too.
Yeah, I think that was kind of
That's
a
a
given once
payment.
I saw the survey. The fact that he labeled it number 2 survey and was so adamant about how he got such a big response on the first survey, you kind of had to figure there was some importance in the second survey with, whether or not they should accept SHIB or not.
It's all coming from Joshua, by the way. Just want to give him credit.
Yeah, that's how things work nowadays in multi-billion-dollar businesses. You do a Twitter poll and you decide, like, what cryptocurrency should we accept, and will Elon Musk sell 10% of his Tesla shares? Either way, or yeah.
If you have a direct pulse to an organism that you want to interact with, it's probably not a bad idea to interact with it.
Not at all.
I think that's the benefit of social media at this point, or one of the benefits.
I think a lot of great ideas have come out of the ape community, and I'm glad that he's been listening and been paying attention to it, because the collective mind of the ape community is very strong and very good. And I like that he's been an active participant and listening to our voice, because I think it's good for the long-term health and longevity of the company.
Sorry, I just want to add that the Shiba and the merchandise was speculation, just to be clear.
Right.
Whoops.
I have a question about the Shiba. As somebody who really, like I said, focuses on the legal aspect, I had seen some posts about Shiba not being like a user-friendly retail coin, or something about gas burn, and I don't know anything about that, but I'm sure other people may have seen those posts. And can someone explain what that means and if that's accurate?
Well, I think burning zeros just means that a zero gets pulled off, so the value goes up and it loses a zero. But they're also transferring coins to a dead wallet, to something about supply. I don't know. I haven't been able to get a clear answer, but yeah. But then again, I don't really understand Shiba like that.
Shiba's on the ETH. So ETH has some associated gas issues, just based on the fact that they're still moving towards just getting some proof of work done. So there are lingering things that being on the ETH network causes the sheep to be a little pricier to move. But it's so future dated to be worrying about right now. It's I don't think that, again, it's just like anyone else in crypto, and any crypto is going to have those things that are disadvantages and advantages, and any new crypto, especially a token. This is not a coin; it's actually a token. So it the use is different, but yeah, there's been a lot going around about the use and how it's going to be expensive to use transactionally. But that's what ETH is working on right now, is those gas fees. I want to be real quick about this because I'm noticing that the level of speakers is going up, so I'm pretty sure I'll probably be rotated down soon. So let me just address the popcorn thing. I'm excited for it, but I think it's important that the marketing group does a good job in marketing and doesn't take the low hanging fruit and just go with what would be obvious, to say, simulate the theater experience at home with AMC popcorn, because I think that it's important that we toe that line of you can't simulate the theater experience, and that's why theaters aren't going anywhere. The more we provide options, I think, for at home experience, the more precarious the marketing is going to be, because we want to make sure that AMC stays on this is the theater experience. This can't be simulated, while getting that new income coming up. Also, guys, I'm getting a lot of direct emojis. I can't respond because when I scroll, the space is so big that it just automatically bounces me back up to the top. So I'm not ignoring anybody's emojis. But yeah, I think that soon enough I'll be back down on listeners, so I'll be able to give you guys all those fist pumps and hundreds.
I heard a cool idea about the grocery store popcorn packs. If they put like one free ticket in every 100,000 packs or something like that, or whatever the number is, I think that would incentivize people to go buy it too.
Does anybody see Citadel Air in this space? I don't know if it's my phone or his.
I haven't seen Citadel Air in a while.
Or Wales, and I think Wales messaged and said they were trying to get up.
I don't see right now. I
haven't seen him.
They show me with 10 spots used, one co-host and a me.
I don't see him either.
I'm terrified to go check my DM because I feel like as soon as I do, it's gonna freeze. Like, is anyone else's bouncing back to the top whenever you try to scroll, or is that just...
Yeah, it's like literally just wants to come back to the top no matter what you do.
Yeah, that's sketching me out. And I have an iPhone 13. I have the new one, and it's still doing the same stuff. It's just that, like David said, whatever Twitter Space was like, we want spaces. We want it to go live tomorrow. What do we need to do? They're like, I don't even know what the answer to that is. And they're like, well, let's just do it and see what happens. So we'll just go through about 5,000 iPhones. We'll figure this out on the back end.
Oh yeah, the other thing, didn't Adam Aaron recently say, or a document from AMC said, that the marketing teams from GameStop and AMC had been talking to each other? Yes. I thought I read that somewhere. Yeah, I wonder if that's also part of what he's going to say. That was also from Joshua.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they were maybe to move some gaming stuff into the theaters.
All right, hey David. I just got a text from my guy Turbo, and I think he has a request, so I just want to give my spot up. Hey, Trey, while you're here, bro, I've been wanting so long to come on and talk to you. So if you ever have some free time and a space available, I love talking about the nuances that the apes have brought to this idea and this concept of activist investing. So I'd be humbled and honored to talk to you, because you're the reason that I've been doing this as long as I have. Like, I came to a Trey YouTube right off of Reddit. I went from Reddit to Trey, and that's what got me to the Twitter group. So that'd be a super dope, bro.
I found Trey on Reddit too. That's weird. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm down for it, man. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Dave. You can kick me, David, and if you could bring Turbo up, that'd be awesome. If not, I get it's hard to control these things. But
yeah, I'm literally right now just trying to get Citadel back up, because he's the one that's got the audio for the earnings call. Like, he's got it set up where we can hear it even better, because he'll be directly piped in.
Hell of an echo.
Yeah, robot.
I'm working on it.
That's okay now. I think
Hey Trey, quick question: how was the aftermath of the Pocky chip challenge?
Let me think of a way to describe this in a good way. I didn't eat any food before I ate that chip, which was the worst mistake that I could have possibly made.
Oh yeah.
The second one is I got it on my mouth a lot, and so my lips were burning for a minute. But the worst part was just that my stomach felt like it was producing petroleum jelly for probably like 24 hours. I just didn't even want to eat. That was just painful. That was the worst part of it. And then obviously, I mean, I'm not. That's all I'm saying. I won't get into other stuff. It's not really. I'm doing okay.
The quickest video you've ever done, dude. I was laughing my ass off the whole time.
I went into it expecting to be able to knock out like a 10-minute video, but my body was like buzzing. It felt like my arms, my legs fell asleep. I couldn't even think. I think I said the word fantastic like 8 times. I got a black. I finished. I was like, wow. Just breathing was painful.
Did you drink any milk? No milk?
Not during the video. So what happened is I ate the chip, and I finished the video, and my roommate, I told him in like a half voice, I was like, get milk. I was just not having it. And it took him like 15 minutes to get back, and then I had a glass. So there's probably about a half hour that I didn't drink anything.
Wow.
Yeah, last year we pulled a little prank on a buddy of mine. We ordered those death chips, and we had a couple glasses of milk, set up. We were in his garage drinking a few beers. We were about to do this challenge, but we filled his milk glass up with an entire bottle of milk of magnesia.
Oh,
So, at the point when you are in so much fucking pain, you don't care what's in that glass, as long as it looks white. You're gonna drink it straight.
Oh, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up.
So there was 6 of us, we all ate that chip, and my fucking eyeballs felt like they were gonna blow out of my head. And we're all just looking at each other with these, grimacing faces all red, veins popping out. And we had the glasses of milk sitting in front of us, and we kept faking him out like we were going to go ahead and grab the glass and drink it. And then finally he couldn't take it no more. He took it fucking glass. He fucking chugged it straight down. And he couldn't even tell that it wasn't fucking milk. That it was straight milk of magnesia. And about I'd say maybe like about an hour later, we were still sitting there in fucking pain. Couldn't even drink a beer because of the carbonation. It would just activate it. And then all of a sudden we're sitting there, and his fucking eyes got real big, and he kind of stiffened up a little bit. And I said to him, yo, what the hell's wrong with you? I said, are you still, hurting from that chip? He's like, no. Hey, listen, guys, I gotta go. He fucking turned around, bolted out of the garage and into his house. We didn't see him. We got phone calls later on, and he figured out what was in his fucking glass. And he's like, you motherfuckers. he said, I guess that went straight through him. You know, the chip, the fire, and straight
Probably
out
a good time for a change of topic. I'm multitasking here. Somebody help. I'm going to actually drop you down just for a second. I'm trying to see if I can free up an extra space if I can get Citadel Air back up here. Maybe it's because I'm at the capacity. If that's all right. And then Altitude's 365 if you had something you wanted to add. And I'm just going to keep trying to rotate. There's so many people requesting.
I'm good. Thanks a lot, man. Take care, everyone.
Pleasure. Yeah, I'm just right now. We got 16 minutes to get this worked out, so he's back up here for the audio. So I'm just focusing on that, guys. Do you have a dirty day? That was my way of saying speak amongst yourselves to avoid the awkward silences.
Well, I always have something to talk about, so unless anybody else wants to talk, I'll just start chirping. Anybody else before I start going off on something related to the law? Put everyone to sleep?
I like to listen.
Thanks, Trey. I appreciate it. Hey, Vix, maybe you want to jump in with me on this because I know you had posted something about this as well. Thought it was interesting this week, the legal document posted regarding Apex and that admission by their CEO in regards to the fact that they didn't need to, in fact, turn off the buy button for those 3 hours.
Yeah, I thought that was wrapped my head around that. This one other part of it was we know that the DTCC notified Apex of whatever their margin requirement or collateral requirement was going to be. But we also know from Robinhood's documents that the NSCC was their issue. So the NSCC and Apex are both clearing corporations. So in my mind, it was like, what's the difference? Why is one of them having such a substantial issue, and then why is one of them not? And I was trying to get a hold of Dave Lauer to see if he could clear that up, but it does look like Apex didn't need to enforce any restrictions on anybody, which was very strange.
Yeah, the weird thing was not only did that. This is what I keep saying because and everyone always, some people comment like, oh, Dave Portnoy came out this week and like, he commented about, everything that was going on. He made that those two statements. And, I was like, oh, his lawyers putting their heads off. And everyone was like, oh, he should defend himself. He should say what he wants. I'm like, but that's the thing. When there's ongoing investigations or litigation, you never want to open your mouth. Look at that. Look at the CEO who made those comments saying that he believed that they didn't have to turn off the buy button, in so many words. Like, why wouldn't his lawyers have told him to just shut up? Like that those types of damning statements can be used against you during ongoing litigation. So that's why even Citadel with their tweets. I mean, they haven't tweeted since, and and the reason why is probably because someone grabbed them, shook them, and said, guys, shut the fuck up. You have to stop commenting on Twitter. This is not, a space to be commenting on during ongoing litigation. And remember, because in court, once you get into court and there's questions about what's going on, it could be used against you in motion practice. It can be used against you as a prior inconsistent statement to get around hearsay rules. So that language and the use of that interview against them. I mean, if somebody didn't tell him not to say that, that's malpractice. And if somebody, somebody seeing that in legal papers was just like completely shocking to me. I could not believe that there was actually a record of somebody saying, "Oh yeah, no, we didn't have to turn off the buy button." And then on top of that, getting those internal memos and conversations that demonstrated, from a timing perspective, that they knew, hours in advance that they were going to be fined in terms of, hitting the monetary clearance, and that they had no reason to turn off the buy button, but then they still did it anyway. Now, Apex only did it, I think, for 3 hours, which was a little bit less than most. But still, at the end of the day, very damning evidence. And again, one of the main reasons why litigation, and this is free litigation, guys. Remember, these lawyers are not getting paid. And that's the one thing I keep trying to hammer home. Like, nobody should ever be paying for any lawyers. All of this stuff is contingent, right? These lawyers will make money if these people get paid. So they're going to be damn sure to work their asses off to make sure that they get paid. So this litigation is basically a free way for us to get as much information as possible. And we're going to get so many more internal documents and so many more depositions. And I know it's frustrating because everything takes time and nothing's going to happen overnight. And again, none of this is going to trigger the MOAS. As a lawyer, that's not my area. I'm not the MOAS guy in terms of saying what may or may not cause that. I leave that to other people's investigations and due diligence. But from a legal perspective, if we are interested in learning and obtaining information about what happened in January and discovering who the culprits are and whether or not there should be future prosecutions or future civil liabilities against them, this is just the beginning. If this motion to dismiss survives, right now there's only 4 or 5 plaintiffs in this action. But remember, there must have been hundreds of thousands of retail investors that were impacted by this. And if it survives the motion to dismiss, there's going to be everyone's going to start filing, and it doesn't cost, these individuals anything. It doesn't cost you anything out of your own pocket. If you file one of these lawsuits, it's not going to cost you anything. You just, give the information. You cooperate with whichever lawyer you might hire. If they ask you for money, they're lying to you. It's always on a contingency, so keep that in mind. And if there's a potential for some monetary returns, then of course they get a cut of it. Usually between 30 and 40%. But again, it's nothing directly out of your pocket. But for me, as a lawyer, I don't look at it from that perspective. I'm not pursuing any of these cases, but I look at it from a discovery perspective, getting as much information as we can, getting a lot of internal information. And the fact that we've gotten this much internal information already and we're this early in the investigative process, it's amazing to me. And it's really showing that, there are the legal system. I know to many people it's frustrating, and I know to a lot of people it's they're working against us and judges are paid off. I got to be honest, I've been in the legal game for a long time, and I've dealt with some pretty significant litigation against some of the biggest corporations in the world, like drug manufacturers who have a lobby that's probably the biggest out of all the lobbies, even more than the financial lobbies. These medication. Think about opioids and all that stuff. There's been litigation with that, and people have been compensated for it. Judges have ruled against these organizations. So, in my experience, judges are really I find litigation and the courts to be a true first line of defense. I think that they are one of the least untouched in terms of being shady and being against the people. So that's why I get excited about litigation, and that's why I jumped into this community, because I really wanted to share that aspect of it, because I really foresaw that we were going to get a lot of information, and I think it's important to get it out there. I'll yield again.
Just wanna
Thanks, lawyer. Hey, sorry, Trade. I just wanted to just say something real quick, because I want to jump down to just listen. I just want to say it feels like the old days, guys. Let's fucking go. I'm in a great spot, great vibes. I love you all, and I'm just going to be listening. We got the earnings call in a few minutes, so I just want to say thank you to everybody for your hard work. I know YouTubers, running spaces, David. I mean, I've been running sheep spaces the last few weeks, and holy shit, it's not easy. Oh my god, the repeat questions and oh my god, the requests. It's like, yo, if you request one more time, I'm just gonna fucking boot you. But I'm learning patience. But I just want to thank all of you guys for being such great role models and teaching me, how to do this, because I was sitting back listening for a while, and now I feeling confident to run my own spaces, and it's all thanks to you guys, and more people are getting educated. So thank you guys.
Absolutely, thank you for being here.
You guys see the Robinhood news?
The data leak or the
5 million emails.
Not surprised.
So I just want to.
What happened? Why is nobody talking?
No, I was just waiting for Turbo to send a request. I appreciate the share on there up on top, but right now I'm just going to delete it down. If anybody wants to grab it real quick, it's making the space run even slower. And we're about 6 minutes away from the earnings call, and I know that Turbo wanted to share something real quick, so
I deleted it.
Thank you.
Only I get to delete my tweet.
If you want to post it on the original space post, so this way anybody that's on here that wants to see it, that's an easy place for them to find it, or tweet it on your line and on your feed, and then they can have it.
I just wanted to say something bad about Robinhood. That's all.
Got it out of your system. Feel better now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Turbo, I don't see a request from you. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Citadel, you're back up. I see you're good for the audio in 5 minutes.
So far, so good.
Perfect. Thank you. That was painful, man. I don't even know.
No, this is a big space. What's up, everybody? I am so happy to see everybody together like this. This is amazing. What's up, David? What's
Hey,
up, Jackson, Vix, Trey? Man, I am so happy to really quickly. I just you guys might have seen all these apes starting to pop up, doing all these crazy dances, and I just want to quickly announce an ape community project that could have end game potential in terms of synergy between GME and AMC. So this is the Nifty Ape Nation, and we're debuting a revolutionary collection of truly next level 3D interactive NFTs that are all going to come with premium utility, which means that you get one of these, you get to play right away in the Ape Fight Club video game, which rivals Street Fighter in terms of quality and graphics. Now, these NFTs are AI capable. Now, it means that you can actually have your ape stream for you while you sleep. So it speaks up to 27 different languages. And, Trey, you and I haven't had a chance to speak, but I'm sure some people have hit you up about this, and I'm glad to be able to tell you about this now. This Thursday, we're releasing this, and we're giving away 8 of these NFTs to service members to honor them on Veterans Day. And so I think I speak on behalf of the entire community here that it would be really amazing if you could be there, and if you were a part of those giveaways. That would just be a giant gesture, I think, because not only are the apes really now really dominating and leading retail space and stock market, but we're now going to be dominating the NFT space. So I know we have this call coming up, but this
apes dominate.
Yes, this is something that is really next level. It's this tech is better than everything out there. Basically, everyone's trying to do what we're doing, and I'm really proud that the apes are a part of this. This is a huge community thing. We have a giant team. It keeps growing and growing. So I just wanted to tell everybody about that. And if you're interested, just click on our Linktree link. It's on my bio. A bunch of people have apes already. Jackson, TMI, like all these people, and Trey. Of course, I'd love to have you and make you an ape yourself if you'd like. So hit me up. Let me know if you guys are interested, and to the moon, baby.
Cowabunga, man. Shoot me a message.
Okay, buddy. Thank you. And I see CV Payne is in here too. Look at this shit. This is great. What up, CV?
Oh, you got to bring him up here.
Yeah, we got.
If he's allowed.
I'll drop down. I was gonna say something. I'll drop down.
Hey, David, I'll just give you a heads up. So far, their audio broadcast quality is subpar. Yeah, it's not. So when it sounds like shit, it's not me. Just a heads up.
Fair enough. So we'll have the best that we can get, and whatever is not perfect is on them.
Yeah, this is. It feels like I'm on AOL dial-up. The audio, the audio quality coming through.
You have mail.
What's dial-up?
It's like when you had a rotary phone.
I know. I was making a joke.
That's the internet I record all my videos on, without a doubt. It's premium stuff, I'm telling you.
Oh, I definitely don't still record with my phone.
It's about time, STV. Jeez.
I have a mic. I use it for streaming. It's just easier with my phone.
Hey everybody, Apes Together Doc Bros here. Just David, what you doing, man? This is a great call. We're in between flights and interviews. Charles Payne, we're going to be interviewing him pretty soon, and David Lauer. So if any of you guys have questions for either of those people, DM us. We're building our list of what we want to talk to everybody about. So we just want to say hi and thanks to everybody.
You know, the audio
and
the
to the
audio
moon.
quality is pretty good here, and we got Charles Payne in the space. Do you want to just interview him here in front of us? No.
We wouldn't be more considered than that. Yeah, we wouldn't put him through that.
I wouldn't expect you to.
Anyway, thanks for doing the space, man. This is awesome.
Pleasure, absolutely. I don't have a request from Charles Payne. I don't know if you see it, Citadel or Lawyer. But
Should be able to go under the people in here, tap the three dots, and invite them.
Yeah, I'm trying that.
Invite them.
Yeah, I fired one off. Don't know if it went through, but we'll see. Yeah, I fired one off. Don't know if it went through, but we'll see.
Hi, Gabe.
Hey, what's going on?
All right. Hey, Gabe.
Hey, how's it going, David?
Anything on that on the audio, Citadel? Have they
Yeah,
started yet? They usually start like 2 minutes after.
We're going live now, buddy. If you're ready.
Perfect.
Remind everyone that some of the comments made by management today during this webcast may contain forward-looking statements that are based on management's current expectations. Numerous risks
Before I turn the webcast over to Adam,
and other factors may cause actual results to differ materially from those that might be expressed today. Many of these risks and uncertainties are discussed in our most recent public filings, including our most recently filed 10-Q. Several of the factors that will determine the company's future results are beyond the ability of the company to control or predict. In light of the uncertainties inherent in any forward-looking statements, listeners are cautioned to not place undue reliance on those statements. The company undertakes no obligation to revise or update any forward-looking statements, whether as a result of new information or future events. On this webcast, we may reference measures such as adjusted EBITDA, free cash flow, operating cash burn, and constant currency, among others, which are non-GAAP financial measures. For a full reconciliation of our non-GAAP measures to GAAP results, please see our earnings release posted in the Investor Relations section of our website earlier today. After our prepared remarks, there will be a Q&A session. This afternoon's webcast is being recorded, and a replay will be available in the Investor Relations section of our website at amctheaters.com later today. With that, I'll turn the call over to Adam.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. And a very special welcome to thousands of our individual shareholders who we expect will be joining us on this webcast as well. At the beginning of 2021, we shared with you our view that both the film exhibition industry and AMC would see sequential improvements in the industry-wide box office during the course of 2021. And indeed, we are seeing exactly that. The industry's box office has been meaningfully increasing each and every quarter thanks to improved vaccination levels and an increasingly appealing film slate. Add to that AMC's commitment to robust health and safety protocols through AMC Safe and Clean and our stepped-up marketing activity, and our numbers for attendance and admission ticket revenues at AMC also continue to rise. When we reported second quarter 2021 numbers, I said on that quarterly earnings call in August that, quote, AMC crushed it, unquote. I didn't say that because we were yet profitable or because we were out of the pandemic woods at that point, but rather because our results were so much better than market expectations, and also because Q2 results were so much stronger than Q1 results. In that spirit, the just announced Q3 results for AMC once again are encouraging. Our numbers for attendance, revenues, adjusted EBITDA, and net loss continue to markedly improve and continue to be well ahead of consensus market expectations. Looking at our industry, the third quarter of 2021 posted the largest domestic industry box office of the year at nearly $1.4 billion, 66% higher than that of Q2 2021 and 486% higher than that of Q1 2021. And as for AMC more specifically, here are just a few snippets of the improving performance that we reported today. The global attendance count for AMC in Q3 2021 was 40 million people. Now, we'd not normally be smiling at an attendance level that was not even half of what it was 2 years ago. But again, this attendance count of $40 million in Q3 of this year is so very much larger than the 22 million guests we had with us in Q2 of this year, or the 7 million guests we had in Q1 of this year. And for that matter, the 40 million guests in Q3 are so much higher than the 8 million guests we had in Q4 of 2020, the 6.5 million guests we had in Q3 of 2020, and the mere 100,000 guests we had in Q2 of 2020. 40 million AMC guests in Q3 2021 was up 81% from our Q2 2021 attendance and up 488% from our Q1 2021 attendance. And look at this positive trend another way. Q1 2021 attendance at AMC was only 9% of that from the comparable pre-pandemic first quarter of 2019. However, Q2 2021 AMC attendance was 23% of the comparable Q2 of 2019, and Q3 at AMC, just completed, was 46% of the comparable Q3 of 2019. Importantly, these positive trends continue as the fourth quarter of 2021 begins. Thanks to Venom, Bond, Halloween Kills, and Dune, 4 different film titles that each won the first 4 weeks of October respectively. Last week we announced that October 2021 was AMC's biggest month for attendance and admission revenues since February of 2020. And we can tell you now that our attendance in October 2021 was 72% of that of October 2019. And admissions revenue was even stronger, almost 90% of that of October 2019. The upward trend is clear and unmistakable. The story is similarly compelling for AMC's total consolidated revenues. $763 million in Q3 2021 was up 72% over 2021 Q2's $445 million. It was up 414% from 2021 Q1's $148 million. And if you want a year-over-year comparison, $763 million of consolidated revenues in Q3 of 2021 was up 539% over the $120 million of revenue AMC had in Q3 of 2020 a year ago. How about we look at adjusted EBITDA? We essentially broke even on the EBITDA line in Q3 2021 with an adjusted EBITDA loss for the combined 3-month period of only $5 million. That number is much better than consensus market expectations, and it is $145 million, or 96% better than the Q2 2021 adjusted EBITDA loss. It's $329 million better, or 98% better than the Q3 2020 adjusted EBITDA loss for the same quarter a year ago. But let's also look beyond the numbers. There were many bright spots for AMC during the third quarter of 2021 and the first 5 weeks of the current Q4. High notes that are of interest to consumers generally and what our shareholders tell us make them proud to be the owners of AMC. Here are 9 examples of a variety of positive developments going on inside AMC right now. 1, we upped our game on alternative content, showing concert movies and live sporting events, including UFC, WWE, heavyweight boxing championship fights, and professional football games on Sunday afternoons in Q3. 2, we introduced open caption showtimes each week in hundreds of our U.S. theaters, specifically for the benefit of the hearing impaired and for those where English is a second language. 3, recognizing the success of our promoting artist-driven, curated movie releases through our Artisan Films effort that was launched in the summer of 2019, we just now launched AMC Thrills and Chills, our unique promotional spotlighting of horror movies that are showing at AMC. 4, we similarly launched $5 fan faves so we can bring back popular movies that were released in prior years. 5, having a charitable bent around the 20th anniversary of 9/11 in September, AMC again screened the Paul Greengrass movie United 93 and donated the ticket proceeds to the Flight 93 National Memorial. On Veterans Day, Thursday of this week, we will show Clint Eastwood's film, American Sniper, and will donate our ticket proceeds to the Wounded Warrior Project. And we could never forget September 24, which is World Gorilla Day, where the ticket proceeds of Gorillas in the Mist, showing in our theaters, and the 9 Planet of the Apes movies showing on AMC Theaters on Demand were donated both to the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund and to the Wildlife Conservation Society. 6, we started accepting cryptocurrency for AMC gift cards and are encoding right now to accept cryptocurrency for online payments on our website and mobile app. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, among other cryptocurrencies are all in the works, and we are exploring now how we can take Shiba Inu as well. While we will accept cryptocurrency, we will not hold it on our balance sheet and therefore will not face increased balance sheet risks. 7, we introduced a new program called AMC Investor Connect, a communication and rewards program for our shareholders. Already, with more than 385,000 people enrolled in AMC Investor Connect since its inception in late June of 2021. Next, we opened the Grove and Americana theaters in Los Angeles to great success. Under AMC's management, and benefiting from the power of AMC's marketing programs, a few weeks ago, these two theaters had already climbed to become the 8th and 34th highest grossing movie theaters in the entire United States. And we're not done. As we sit here today, we have signed 3 signed leases and 5 signed letters of intent on particularly appealing, potentially successful movie theater pickups around the U.S. 7 of the 8 are coming to us from ArcLight Pacific Theaters, which has ceased operations, as you know. Beyond these 8 new theaters, we are continuing to review additional new theater opportunities that are coming our way. And finally, there are our 7 new, in our opinion, simply stunning Nicole Kidman television commercials for AMC theaters in the United States, also being used for all our theaters across Europe, which debuted in September of 2021 in Q3, and in which Nicole Kidman reminds us all how wonderful it is to see, in her words, dazzling images on a huge silver screen, and that at AMC theaters, we make movies better. Our financial results have gotten stronger and stronger, and our company is doing good things, innovative things, in area after area after area. One can see and one can feel that our industry and our company, AMC Entertainment, are on a path of recovery and improvement from this horrid global pandemic that has occupied us all since early in 2020. Therefore, no surprise, our spirits are upbeat. However, even amidst such good news, we're not yet where we want and where we need to be. We wish to emphasize that no one should have any illusions. There is more challenge ahead of us still to be met. The virus continues to be with us. We need to sell more tickets in future quarters than we did in the most recent quarter. And adjusted EBITDA is still well below pre-pandemic levels, but also clear we are making progress, considerable progress. Sean, over to you.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. For the first time since the fourth quarter of 2019, essentially all of our theaters around the world were open for the entire quarter. Much has been written about the impact of the COVID pandemic on the theatrical exhibition industry and AMC in particular. Recovery takes time, but with all of our theaters now open and looking at how our financial results have progressed over the last 9 months, and considering the strength of the upcoming film slate, it really feels like we are moving towards a more normal theatrical exhibition environment. The numbers clearly show our recovery trajectory. Adam has already highlighted some of this information. In Q3, we achieved 140 million global attendees, representing an 81% increase over Q2 and a nearly 5-fold increase over Q1. 2, consolidated adjusted EBITDA of negative $5 million, very close to break even, a $145 million improvement over Q2's EBITDA loss of $151 million, and a $289 million improvement over Q1's EBITDA loss of $295 million. And finally, operating cash burn, representing operating cash flow before interest payments, payback of deferred rent, and non-recurring rent prepayments, and after capital expenditure, was approximately $10 million per month, and this compares to approximately $42 million per month in Q2 and $107 million per month in Q1. and we continue to expect sequential improvement as we go into the fourth quarter. Indeed, as Adam noted, the fourth quarter got off to a very strong start. October 2021 admissions revenue was almost 90% of October 2019's admission revenue levels. And this just in. This last weekend's total AMC revenue exceeded the 2019 comparative period. So while we have more room for improvement ahead, the comparisons of our performance now to that of 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, are much improved over where they were during the past 5 quarters. As you just heard, the 40 million guests that we welcomed at our theaters during the third quarter represented 46% of attendance in Q3 of 2019. But that was also 67% of attendance per showtime during Q3 of 2019. This difference between having 46% of Q3 2019 attendance versus having 67% of Q3 attendance per showtime illustrates our continued ability to flex capacity and therefore flex operating costs to efficiently meet the level of demand. This effective management of our cost structure is one of the key reasons we were able to achieve the sort of strong results that we saw this quarter, results that were considerably better than many expected from AMC. As we are still in a ramp-up phase, comparison of our results to prior periods in 2020 and 2019 is often not particularly meaningful. However, there are some important performance indicators that are worth discussing. Our consolidated revenue per patron for Q3 was a very strong $19.08. This compares to $15.12 in Q3 of 2019, a 26% increase. In the domestic market, revenue per patron was $20.15, up $4.28 or 27% from Q3 of 2019. This was driven by a 39% increase in food and beverage spend per patron from $5.35 in 2019 up to $7.41 in 2021, coupled with a 16% increase in average ticket price from $9.45 in 2019 up to $10.98 in 2021, and a 64% increase in other revenue per patron from $1.07 in 2019 up to $1.76 in 2021. In our international markets, revenue per patron was $16.95, up $3.60 or 27% from the third quarter of 2019. This was driven by a 41% increase in food and beverage spend per patron from $3.59 in 2019 up to $5.07 in 2021, coupled with a 17% increase in average ticket price from $8.45 in 2019 up to $9.91 in 2021, and a 50% increase in other revenue per patron from $1.31 in 2019 up to $1.96 in 2021. Clearly, across all of our markets, we continue to see significant strength in average ticket prices, food and beverage spend, and other revenue per patron. The strength in average ticket price has been helped by pricing actions taken during the third quarter, plus a high utilization of our premium large format offerings such as IMAX and Dolby Cinema. Our guests view going to the movies as a special occasion, and they increasingly choose to splurge on the best possible sight and sound experiences available through our premium offerings. Likewise, the increase in our food and beverage revenue per patron is a reflection of guests' enjoyment of the full theatrical experience at AMC. The significant outperformance compared to 2019 is mainly driven by an increase in the proportion of guests choosing to enjoy our industry-leading food and beverage offerings. Moving over to the balance sheet. We ended the quarter with $1,825 million of total liquidity. This is comprised of $1,613 million of cash and cash equivalents and $212 million undrawn under our revolving credit facilities. Regarding capital allocation, we continue to pursue a balanced and disciplined approach to capital allocation. Our priorities remain: 1, ensuring that we do have sufficient liquidity; 2, strengthening our balance sheet by reducing our debt and associated interest costs; 3, investing in our business to enhance the guest experience; and 4, opportunistically pursuing value-enhancing initiatives, including those that lead to diversification of our business. With respect to strengthening our balance sheet, as discussed during our last webcast, we continue to choose to pay cash interest rather than payment in kind or PIK interest, thus avoiding any increases in our debt position. During the third quarter, we exercised an option to repurchase $35 million of our highest cost debt that carried a 15% cash, 17% payment in kind coupon. While this may seem like a relatively small amount, it is yet another step that we are taking on the path to recovery and will result in a reduction in our annual interest cost by approximately $5 million. Similarly, during the quarter, we repaid approximately $45 million of deferred rent, taking our deferred rent balance down to $376 million. In total, during Q2 and Q3 of 2021, we have reduced our deferred rent obligations by approximately $100 million. For now, we continue to focus the substantial majority of our capital expenditures on maintenance spend. CapEx for the third quarter was $17.5 million net of landlord contributions. And net CapEx for the whole of 2021 is now expected to be in the range of $80 to $100 million. As part of our ongoing efforts to optimize our theater portfolio, during the quarter, we opened 7 new theaters and closed 4. This brings the total number of locations closed in 2021 to 17 and the total number of new locations opened to 18 for a net add of 1 location as we continue to effectively manage our portfolio by adding new high-performing locations and eliminating lower-performing ones. Looking towards the fourth quarter and 2022, as Adam noted, we have reason to be optimistic. Based on a Q4 domestic box office forecast of approximately $2 billion, we currently believe that our adjusted EBITDA and our operating cash burn is likely to turn positive in the fourth quarter. While we are buoyed by our Q3 results and the momentum going into the fourth quarter, we do recognize that there is much work still to be done. We are very focused on the task at hand, and we are confident that we are well positioned to capitalize on the improving and increasingly more attractive industry box office as we close out 2021 and head into 2022. And with that, I will pass the call back over to Adam.
Thanks, Sean. Before we open this up to your questions, I'd like to talk about our strategy going forward for a moment. It goes without saying that we're going to do all in our power to bring back AMC as you used to know it pre-pandemic, the biggest and most successful movie theater company in the world. And true to our company's heritage, we will strive to be as creative and innovative as we possibly can as we do so. But you don't drive a car by looking only in the small rearview mirror and only ponder where you've been. Instead, you also look through the much larger front windshield. You look forward, you gaze at where you're headed in addition to where you've been. When some people have looked at AMC, they've made the mistake of only looking back to the company that we once were pre-pandemic. They don't factor in that our enthusiastic new shareholders have armed us with a war chest currently of more than $1.8 billion in liquidity. Now, we intend to be extremely careful with that liquidity, using it first to get to the other side of this global pandemic. At the same time, however, these monies should allow us to think hard and boldly about how we might transform AMC into a new and different company that does a lot more than just show movies in cinemas. You've already seen, for example, our announcement of last week that at AMC, we will be entering the multi-billion-dollar popcorn industry in 2022. There are two significant advantages that AMC enjoys in that regard. First, our brand, AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn, has credibility. After all, our company has been selling popcorn for 101 years. And on a peak day, we already sell some 50 tons of the stuff. And I ask you, is there anything that tastes better than real movie theater popcorn? Is there anything that tastes better than popcorn from AMC? And second, we have terrific, long-standing business relationships with the biggest and best mall operators around. So, AMC, starting in 22, will open kiosks, counters, and stores in retail malls around the country. We also are in discussions with manufacturers and co-packers to introduce an AMC Theaters line of ready-to-eat and microwavable popcorn to be sold in grocery stores and convenience stores under the AMC Theaters brand, again, hopefully commencing later in 2022. And given that we are now cooking popcorn right now, this very minute, at nearly 1,000 theaters in 12 countries, we also intend in 2022 to introduce new to-go packaging so we can offer pick-up and take-out options, and partnering with existing home delivery services to offer home delivery as well. On a completely separate idea, AMC has also been speaking publicly in recent months about cryptocurrencies and NFTs. I can confirm today that we have been exploring with third parties over the past few months both how we can accept cryptocurrency and, if it is feasible, for AMC to consider even launching our own cryptocurrency. Similarly, I can confirm to you today that we are now in conversation with multiple major Hollywood studios about the concept of joint venturing commemorative NFTs related to major film titles that show in our theaters. This is the 21st century after all, and it would seem that there may be real opportunity for AMC in these areas. But, so there's absolutely no confusion on this score. Some of these conversations are only preliminary in nature. The regulatory climate is fast-moving and could affect our thinking, and there can be no assurance how, when, or if we will proceed. Still, the whole concept is quite intriguing to us. But popcorn, cryptocurrency, and non-fungible tokens are only three ideas of several we are actively thinking about within AMC. We'll say more publicly about them when and if we know more. Our point, though, is that when you think about AMC's future, especially securities analysts from major firms who sometimes publish long treatises about various exhibitors, including AMC, you should be thinking broadly about us, because at AMC, we are thinking broadly about our future. Before we head to your questions, I'd like to end our prepared remarks with a personal comment, if I can. I believe that chief executive officers of companies should own company stock, and I believe in transparency. So I want to repeat today comments that I made on our last earnings call 3 months ago. As one of my first acts this summer as the new chairman of the board of AMC, I announced my intention to recommend to our full board of directors a new executive stock ownership policy. The board approved that recommendation of the new policy at its most recent meeting. It applies to 19 of our most senior executives. Without taking you through its many nuances and complexities, the new stock ownership policy generally requires that I, as CEO, be required to carry 8 years of my salary in fully owned or board-granted AMC stock. The goal is for our company's CEO to think and act like a shareholder because I am a shareholder. I want my interests to be aligned with yours. Separately, on the last call, I pointed out that much of my annual compensation is not in cash, but is in AMC stock. Each year, 62.5% of my compensation is in AMC stock, not cash, to be exact. In the almost 6 full years I have led AMC, with the caveat that I did give some shares to my 2 adult children, and I forfeited some granted shares in some years, but not in others, to cover federal and state income tax withholding obligations, I have not sold a single AMC share. When AMC stock was rising in value earlier this year, I did not sell even 1 AMC share, not in March, not in June, not in September, when I could have done so. But on our last call, I also pointed out to you that in September of 2021, I would turn 67 years of age. A youthful, vibrant, vigorous, full of life 67, I might add, but 67 nonetheless. Prudent estate planning suggests I should diversify my assets a bit, especially with Congress having been discussing imposing potentially soaring capital gains tax rates and significant changes to what can be passed on to one's heirs. So, even though I was not required to make the public disclosures that I made back in August, to be transparent, I made those public announcements anyway. Nor am I required to make any public announcement today. Although, to be transparent, I'm repeating those same public announcements today. I said then that I expected to sell some AMC shares before year end, and that I would do so under the auspices of a so-called 10b5-1 plan where I give up stock trading control and turn it over to an independent bank, in my case, JPMorgan Chase. My plan, though, which I did put in place back in August, has several parameters, including that the plan be set up several months in advance and that any stock sale be spread over at least 3 different calendar months. So, you should expect to see some stock transactions shortly on my behalf. I can only imagine that naysayers and others who wish AMC harm will try to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt in this regard. But here's what of AMC Entertainment. I fervently believe in AMC, and my interests are very much aligned with our broad shareholder base
to care very much about the value of your own ongoing investment and my ongoing investment in AMC Entertainment stock. So that's our thoughts coming out of Q3. Sean, let's turn first to questions that were submitted to us from our shareholders. What's the first question?
Thanks, Adam. So the first question is, will AMC consider various promotions associated with the new popcorn sales, such as perhaps a golden ticket?
So, I have to admit, it's no surprise. I think I'm following almost 2,500 of our shareholders on Twitter, and I receive hundreds, sometimes thousands of inbound messages every day on my Twitter feed. I tend to read as many of those as I possibly can every single day because I learn so much from what our shareholders tell me and what they think. And what's happened this year is we've been deluged by suggestions from our shareholder base. Over and over again since the popcorn announcement, which was just last week, I've seen suggestions that we include in the boxes of popcorn that we sell in supermarkets, for example, that we include an AMC discount certificate, or occasionally, just as a random surprise, maybe a free ticket, even a free private theater rental at our theaters. And I got to tell you, I think it's a great idea. If you just turn on your television and look at other companies' advertisements these days, Domino's has a major promotion right now of something called Surprise Freeze, where they're giving out things along with the pizzas that you order from them. It's not exactly a new idea. All my life, Cracker Jack has put a surprise, not a very good one, but they put a little surprise in every package of Cracker Jack. And I think we have a great opportunity to bring down the perceived cost of buying AMC Theater popcorn, perfectly popcorn, by putting in either a discount certificate if you go to a theater or a freebie of some kind. And similarly, we have an enormous promotional opportunity to let people know that they should go and give them incentives that they should go see a movie. In some cases, it may be a particular movie. Some cases, it may be all movies at a nearby AMC theater. So I think it's a great idea, and write it down. Folks, we're going to do it.
Thanks, Adam. So the next question is, will you accept Shiba Inu?
So Shiba Inu, again, suggestions from shareholders. There's just been a tidal wave of inbound messaging to our company and to me personally that we ought to get much more active in the sphere of cryptocurrency, and that there was real opportunity for AMC. And in a groundbreaking announcement back in August or September, we announced with some bravado that we're going to accept Bitcoin by year end for online payments either on our website or our mobile app. It was very well received. So we figured out a way to increase the currencies that we would take, growing it to include Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. We then received so many messages about Dogecoin. We took a quick look. I did a Twitter poll. A lot of you voted. A lot of you voted yes. So we're in the process of figuring out how to take Dogecoin. More recently, once the Dogecoin announcement was out there, we announced that we'd already figured out a way for people to buy AMC gift cards right now using all these currencies that I've mentioned here before. And we are on track right now to accept, as we promised, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and others prior to year end next month. We believe that we'll be in a position, that's for online payments directly with us through our website and app. We think we'll be able to launch the acceptance of Dogecoin in the first quarter of 22, just a few months from now, again, on our website and smartphone app. And as we made those announcements, which was making a lot of you happy, the flood of commentary came in about Shiba Inu. So again, I did a Twitter poll. And again, a lot of you read the tweet, a lot of you voted, and a lot of you voted yes. And we are now figuring out how we can take Shiba Inu as a currency. That's the next one on our cryptocurrency hit parade. I might add that we believe we have figured out ways where we do not have to hold cryptocurrency on our balance sheet. So we're not taking increased balance sheet risk with all this potential acceptance of cryptocurrency. And as I said earlier in the remarks, as we learn more and more about the opportunities available to AMC with cryptocurrency, it does really raise the question in a serious way. And we are engaged in serious thought and discussions with third parties on this subject. Do we just accept cryptocurrency, or do we issue an AMC cryptocurrency of our own? By the way, that one I might hold on the balance sheet, because we might own a lot of that. And be interested to see what value creation could occur for the benefit of our shareholders if we do.
Thanks, Adam. And the next question is, what are the opportunities for AMC with respect to NFTs?
Here again, our inbox is filled with ideas from our shareholders about NFTs. I remember reading the first tweet that came to me. It was either a tweet or a DM, a direct message, that said, you really ought to launch the issuance of commemorative movie tickets in the format of an NFT. And I instantly thought, that's a really smart idea. That's just a really smart idea. And then I realized, as I kept reading, that wasn't the only inbound messages I got about NFTs or about commemorative tickets. And the more I saw this cavalcade of advice from our shareholder base that we should explore commemorative movie theater tickets as NFTs, the more they set us down this path. We have already commenced serious discussions with multiple Hollywood studios, major studios, about launching NFTs in conjunction with some of the major titles of movies that are playing in our theaters. As I said in the prepared remarks, there's nothing to report today, but stay tuned. This space is very intriguing to us.
Thanks, Adam. The next question is, will AMC offer a method by which people can buy retail AMC merchandise?
Well, you seem to be on the hit parade of suggestions from our shareholders. Over and over and over and over and over again, people are telling me that we ought to launch various lines of AMC merchandise. It's a whole variety of things that would carry the AMC logo, whether it's, golf shirts or coffee mugs or hats or a lot of other things. Again, it seems like a good idea to us, especially if we can connect it to major movie titles that are playing in our theaters. And so we're going to be exploring this area very carefully as we enter the new year of 2022.
Will AMC offer esports and gaming in the theaters?
Esports and gaming. This is something we've looked at repeatedly over the 6 years that I have run AMC. There are reasons to think it might be one of these many ideas where we could branch out our company and do something different going forward than we have done in the past, hopefully creating shareholder value in the process or living up to the shareholder value that's already implied in our share price. Interestingly for us, on our board of directors is another Adam Sussman, who's the president of Epic Games. And not a week goes by that I don't receive suggestions in my inbound Twitter feed that we form some kind of partnership with a company called GameStop, which apparently many of you have heard of. So we're going to take a look at what opportunities available to AMC through gaming and esports as the new year comes forward.
Next question is, what theater locations are you looking to expand into?
I'm really proud of the caliber of talent in our development organization. Development is our name for our real estate group. They have ownership of the, whatever it is, the leases on almost 1,000 theaters that we have. They're in active dialogue with proprietors in the commercial real estate industry, mall operators, other commercial space. AMC, over the past several years, has really become what we think is the clear, undisputed leader in our industry. And what we're hearing from landlords across the United States, as well as across Europe, is that we're a company of choice and gets first crack on a lot of superb movie theater locations that may come our way. So in addition to the 8 theaters that I mentioned are in the pipeline right now, either signed leases or signed LOIs to go to the next step with these leases, our development group is out there looking at and fielding proposals like every week for a new theater here or a new theater there, based on the intriguing commercial real estate opportunity that's in front of us. I think it was in your remarks on the call earlier, Sean, you talked about how we're adding high performing theaters like the Grove and Americana in Los Angeles, which a month after we took them over were the 8th and 34th highest grossing movie theaters in the United States. At the same time, we're pruning out of our network of almost 1,000 theaters, low performing theaters that essentially make no money at all or even lose money. We'd love to be in a position where we can refine our fleet so that we can continue to add high performing profitable theaters and chase away leases that are far less attractive.
Thank you. And what about issuing AMC branded credit cards?
It's another great idea. Although that one, I don't remember seeing that from on Twitter. I think that came from within our company. I thought about doing that when I joined AMC back in 2016, because earlier in my career, when I was the chief marketing officer of United Airlines, United Mileage Plus reported to me, and therefore United's co-branded credit card reported to me. And back in 1990, which I hate to admit 31 years ago, United was doing about $10 billion of volume on that branded credit card. $10 billion of volume or more. I didn't launch a branded credit card at AMC back in 2016 because at the time I thought it was a small idea for us and that we wouldn't place a lot of cards. But something very dramatic has changed at AMC, first in 2018 and now again in 2021. Between 2016 and 2018, we started dramatically growing the amount of participation in our AMC Stubs loyalty program. And we now have over 20 million households who are enrolled in AMC Stubs, just in the United States. A lot of those people are very committed to AMC. Then in the summer of 2018, we launched A-List and added another almost 1 million people who were participating with our subscription program, committing to, to pay us each and every month for the opportunity to see as many as 3 movies a week for a fixed price. That's another group of people who are uniquely committed to AMC. And then there's what happened this year. As you know, individual retail investors descended upon AMC, bought control of AMC, and the last time we announced that we had some 4.1 million retail shareholders who are very much invested in our company, not just invested financially in our company, but invested emotionally with our company. And that's another group of people who are very interested in our company and very committed to AMC. So given these 3 populations now that are large, in the millions, that are committed to AMC, I think an AMC branded credit card might work really well, both for the holder of the card and for us as the company with the co-branding partnership with a major bank. We have already started discussions with several of the major credit card issuing banks to see if we can do something here in 2022. This is yet another one of these big ideas where AMC going forward could be a company that is much more active and engaged in people's lives than just being the repository of where they go to watch movies at a movie theater when they want to go see a flick.
Next question here is, would you consider expanding further in Europe?
Well, we would consider expanding further in Europe, but I do want to remind everybody that already today, AMC Entertainment is the largest movie theater exhibitor in Europe. We are either number 1 or 2 in the UK and Ireland, in Portugal and Spain, in Italy, in Sweden, in Norway, and Finland and Scandinavia. And we're number 4 in Germany today. So we have a significant position in Europe. The brand names that we use are different in Europe. It's Odeon in the UK and Ireland. It's Cinesa in Spain, and it's UCI in Italy. It's Finkino or Senskakino. It's other names and local names in Scandinavian languages up in the north. But we're a big player in Europe, and we're always looking to see if we can become bigger and stronger still.
Will AMC consider making its own movies?
Yet another interesting idea that has come into us of late, especially after we raised the $1.25 billion of equity capital in the month of May. When our shareholders facilitated our raising capital, equity capital, that puts our company in a position where we can consider how to deploy that capital and do so to create value for our shareholders. This is not entirely a new subject for AMC. Many years ago, AMC became a 50% owner of something called Open Road Films. I was the co-chairman of Open Road Films back in 2016, and you'll recall that in 2016, Open Road Films won the Oscar for Best Picture of the Year for a wonderful movie called Spotlight. And so we've made content before. I do think in this day and age, when so much content is being created, it is interesting to contemplate, should AMC fund content? Should AMC fund exclusive content that might only be seen at our own theaters? These are all possibilities. Again, possibilities that we'll be exploring in 2022 and beyond. I've already had conversations with several of the best filmmakers in Hollywood very experienced movie makers that, thanks to our shoulder base, who armed us with what I called earlier, what is called a war chest of equity capital, to think differently about our future than some of you look merely at our past, that possibly going into joint venture with movie makers is something that we can consider. But again, no promises, no decisions have been made. It's a decision we'll make later in 2022.
So the next question, Adam, here is, can you increase the pay for loyal, hardworking AMC workers?
So that is a fabulous question. There are so many reasons why AMC survived calendar year 2020 when the pandemic was at its height. Our landlord community sided with us and gave us a pass on not forcing us to be current in rent when our theaters were closed and we had no revenue. In 2021, our new retail shareholders who were so enthusiastic about AMC literally gave us billions of dollars of additional equity capital to strengthen the company's reserves and its financial strength. But there's another group of people who you just can't say enough good things about. And that's the people who work at our theaters. We call them our film crew. And these are, in some cases, they're the general management of our theaters. In other cases, they're hourly workers who are manning the box offices and the concession stands and cleaning up the theaters and keeping them clean and making sure that we institute all the AMC safe and clean health and safety protocols, which have made it so possible for people to come back in big quantities to our theaters. You've all read about the so-called labor shortages in the United States. You've seen that unemployment is now at the lowest rate that it's been since the pandemic started. You can't go anywhere in America without seeing help wanted and we're hiring signs at every retail store, at every fast food place, wherever you turn. People are looking for quality workers. And among other things, that means you have to pay them. And so we already have taken a hard look at the wages that we pay around the United States, and especially with the political currents of the country. There's a lot of talk about $15 minimum wages, and you see rising minimum wages all around the country being instituted locally or in certain state jurisdictions, if not federally. We actually have already taken action to increase our wages for our film crew, and I can say without equivocation, they work hard, they work well, and they've earned it.
Thanks, Adam. The next question here is, what are your plans to pay off AMC's debt, and how long will it take?
This question really highlights, I think, some of the FUD, it's called, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that's thrown around our company. Of all the things that have kept me up at night in the last 2 years, our debt load is not one of them. And I'll tell you why. First of all, prior to the pandemic, we had extended out our debt maturities. And second, during the pandemic, we worked with our lenders, mostly both our first lien holders and our second lien holders, to again further stretch out our debt maturities. When you look at how much money we have been, for sure, we took on a lot of additional debt to make it through the pandemic. But we did it in a smart way. And if you look at our maturities, we don't have any debt maturities before August of 2023, and that's only a few $100 million worth. We don't have big maturities until debt maturities, which means that's when you got to pay the debt back, till 2026. That gives us 2026. That's 5 years from now. That gives us a lot of time to build our EBITDA back. Remember that before the pandemic, this company was routinely generating $800 million or so of EBITDA each year. As the recovery moves to full bloom, we ought to be bringing in a lot of EBITDA between now and 2026. We can use some of that EBITDA to pay down debt. If you look at what we've already done, it is true that we took on a lot of additional debt between March of 2020 and January of 2021 to survive the pandemic. But if you look at what we've done since the end of January through to now, we converted $600 million of debt into equity. We paid off our $200 million balance in our revolving credit line. We did that in March. We paid in the second and third quarters, we paid off $100 million of deferred rent, which is debt. If you look at recently we announced we clawed back $35 million of that high interest rate expensive debt that we took on last December. So we're already paying back debt. But here's why I don't lose sleep on this, and why, people who don't necessarily wish AMC well throw this debt load around to scare people. Companies will never pay off all their debt. Companies do want to manage the debt load down to a prudent level. But every major company in America carries debt, and they carry it almost in perpetuity. And the reason they do so is returns on equity are higher. Remember, shareholders own the equity. Returns on equity are higher if you can borrow some debt at reasonable cost. And so we will, over the next 3 years, when the first small maturity comes, and the next 5 years when, I guess 2 years when the first small maturity comes, and the next 5 years when the large maturities come, we will continue to pay down debt as we have over 2021. But we're also going to refinance our debt. And we've done that 3 times, at least, since I joined the company in 2016, where we get the debt hopefully down to a more prudent level, and then we stretch out the maturity, pushing it out another 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Again, carrying a prudent level of debt so that we can increase returns on equity. And by the way, when we refinance that debt, we borrowed some of that money when we were right on our knees because of the pandemic, and our theaters were all shut, and the interest rates we had to pay were very high, like very high. And I would expect that as we refinance our debt in 23 and 24 and 25 and 26, that we'll be able to refinance our debt, not only stretching out the maturities well out in the future, but also doing so at a much lower interest rate, which will save us a lot of interest expense as we go forward.
Thanks, Adam. And the final question from our shareholders is, what is AMC doing to ensure exclusive theatrical releases?
The issue of exclusive theatrical releases, the industry jargon is a window, the window that movies are in theaters solely, as contrasted with when they go to the home, when they're still in theaters, has been one of the biggest issues that we've been tackling since when the pandemic started. Some studios started taking movies to the home right away, simultaneously. And it makes it easier for people to watch at home instead of coming to one of our theaters. So no surprise, AMC, as the largest exhibitor on the planet, and having actually very solid relationships at the top of every major studio, engaged in constant dialogue with studio chiefs about how important it was for our business, but as we articulated to them, how important we thought it was to their business that we both get the benefit of the monies that are flowing in the movie theaters. In calendar year 2019, $43 billion of movie theater tickets were sold across the face of the earth. You don't really want to light a match. If you're a major studio, you don't really want to light a match to $43 billion of revenue, even if they share some of it with theaters. And we've been making that point. We've been making that point strongly, making it strongly sometimes publicly, sometimes making the point strongly privately. And I'd like to report that of late, we've had real success on this front. You may recall that in July of 2020, we launched a groundbreaking announcement with Universal that we were going to participate as what you might think it was like a venture partner as they took movies to the home, either at the 17-day mark or the 31-day mark, where AMC was going to get paid whether people came to see their movies in our theaters or their movies on their home couches. In August of this year, we reached a very important agreement with Warner Brothers, who had been experimenting during the pandemic in calendar 21 of taking movies simultaneously to the home and theaters. We think that decision may have helped HBO Max, but we think it cost Warner Brothers Studios a lot of money. We think it cost us a lot of money. And so we're very pleased that we're able to sign a contractual commitment with Warner Brothers for calendar 22, beginning January 1, that if it's a theatrical movie being made by Warner Brothers, it's coming to theaters first and coming to theaters only for essentially a 45-day window where we have the movie exclusively. We were similarly thrilled that Disney announced just right around Labor Day weekend that it too, during the pandemic, you might say COVID rules apply, was experimenting with different distribution models, including taking movies to Disney Plus Premier Access, they called it, where they were charging usually a $30 fee to watch a movie on Disney Plus. At the same time, they were taking the movie to theaters. What Disney announced Labor Day weekend was that for their 4 movies that were being released between Labor Day and New Year's Day, that they were going to give theaters an exclusive theatrical window. And now it's our burden to generate significant, I want to say our, I don't mean just AMC, I mean all of exhibition, to generate significant revenues for Disney in movie theaters so that Disney has confidence that when it's deciding how to release movies in 22 and 23 and beyond, that they put in place and respect an exclusive theatrical window. And as I said, the Disney announcement in September was a significant announcement for us. What's more, Disney has some amazing movie product coming out. I had the privilege last Monday of going out to Manhattan Beach and going to the studios of Lightstorm, which is James Cameron's and John Landau's production company. That's the company that made the incredible movie Avatar, the most successful movie of all time, until Avengers Endgame came out. And I'm told Avatar just repassed Avengers Endgame as the #1 movie of all time. Avatar 2 is coming out at Christmas of 2022. I've seen footage from it. It's mind-blowing. Avatar 2 is going to be such an incredible movie. And I can tell you right now, there is one and only one place to watch Avatar. And it's not on your telephone, and it's not on your tablet, and it's not on your home TV. It is on a big screen. To quote Nicole Kidman,